Bienvenida, bienvenidos a Marcando Autenticidad con Marta y Alexandra, la serie número 1 en entrevistas para el desarrollo sano y auténtico de la relación madre-hija y sus futuras generaciones, donde reconocidos expertos de Latinoamérica, Estados Unidos y Europa traen temas de actualidad y muy relevantes para ti. En el episodio de hoy tenemos el placer de entrevistar a Monica Ribero, abordando el tema de la energía vital y cómo ésta impacta la armonía en la relación hija-madre. Mónica es coach de vida y liderazgo en energía vital para mujeres y hombres que han vivido en piloto automático durante la mayor parte de sus vidas. Ella los ayuda a encontrarse a sí mismos, a recuperar su poder auténtico y a crear conscientemente la vida que realmente desean. Después de viajar varias veces a la India, obtuvo una certificación de sanación Reiki y se enamoró del yoga. Originaria de Bolivia, viviendo hoy en Estados Unidos, una de las mayores pasiones de Mónica en su carrera como coach es ayudar a madres e hijas a mejorar su relación y a encontrar la libertad de ser auténticas, lo que en última instancia, cree ella, empoderará a más mujeres alrededor del mundo. Somos tus anfitriones, Marta y Alexandra, madre e hija en vida y negocios, mentores y conferencistas internacionales, creadoras del método 7 pasos en el camino a fortalecer el vínculo madre-hija. Esta entrevista está moderada en inglés e incluye subtítulos en español.
Pleasure to have you with us today. And thank you for taking this time to be here and sharing not only your professional experience, but as well a little bit of your personal experience as a daughter, as a woman, and to spend some time here to learn more about what energy work means and what it is all about.
Yes, thank you, Alex. I'm so excited to be here with you guys. I met you a couple of weeks ago, saw a lot of your work, and I'm very excited to be sharing this with your community and share whatever help I can give. Was born in Bolivia, and my whole life I played tennis since I was 6 years old. I was number 1 in my country when I was 8 years old. And I was very competitive throughout my life, always trying to strive for, growth and improvement. And there were a lot of times where I felt I was just going with the flow throughout my life. When I turned 18, which I graduated from high school, I got a full scholarship in tennis, and that brought me to the US. And here I was still going, in that competitive mindset, which I'm very thankful for what that mindset has given me. The reason why I do energy work right now is because at some point I realized that I was living in autopilot, just going from like one trophy to another trophy and always looking for that next achievement. And I felt a little bit disconnected, completely lost, right? And zero self-awareness of, what I was feeling, what I wanted. I was just going with the flow. And even though I was achieving things, I was not feeling fulfilled. That took me to a really nice journey of self-awareness, basically, a couple years, like 5 years ago, where I had the opportunity to go to India a couple of times, actually. And over there, there's a lot of new things that kind of opened up my perspective about the power of energy. It was allowing me to stop in my life a little bit and figure out, okay, who is it that I am? What is it that I want? And where do I want to go and who I want to become? So it started being a transformation personally. I had my certification from Reiki healing. And then as I saw the transformation in myself, I started looking for ways of helping other people professionally as well. Like ever since I was little, I was always trying to make people feel comfortable, happier, just enjoy the little moments. So there was that spiritual part of me that brought me into the school of core energy coaching. In essence, as aware as you become of the energy that you're presenting and showing up in your life, the more you can accept it and kind of raise your frequency. And it's a beautiful topic because it touches on consciousness. I've seen a lot of people go through that journey and that process, and the transformation that I've seen, it's amazing. I had started the coaching practice with, one-on-one coaching practices, and I also do workshops around energy healing. And one of the topics that I'm very passionate about is the energy between mother and daughter, right? And that's why it brought me to you guys, because it's such an important topic to address for many different reasons.
How does the lack of awareness of one's energy affect really the mother-daughter relationship from your point of view?
Marta, that's a great question. That's a great question because a lot of people don't even think about that question and just go through life 40, 30, 20, 50, 60 years, and they're not even aware of where they are or what's happening, right? The mother and daughter relationship is highly influential energetically, right? To an extent, sometimes mothers think their daughters are an extension of themselves, and sometimes daughters seek adoration and validation constantly from their mothers, right? And that dynamic sometimes can become chaotic. So if you step back and really analyze and think about what energy is, right? When we're growing up, we set our values, our core values, right? And they're influenced by all our experiences from when we were children. And when we are daughters, we have a lot of influence from our mothers and the way that they set our values and our core beliefs. Now, what happens when we have those core values? Those are what determine the way we think. And when we think some way, those thoughts determine the way we feel and the emotions that we get. And based on those emotions, those determine the way we act or don't act and the results that we get in life, right? So the lack of awareness of where you're coming from, like what is your core belief? Where did you learn what you're believing? Is it really yours? Is it your mom's? Is it your grandmom's? So there's a lot of behavior that we see in daughters and mothers, obviously, that are when you're not aware of that, you're living in autopilot, not even questioning where is this coming from, right? So there's a lot of techniques that you can start figuring out. Okay, I'm going to list everything that I am, right? And I'm going to say, well, this trait of mine is really not mine. It's my mother's, right? And then you go a level deeper and you say, well, where did she learn that? And then you go a level deeper. And what that does is that creates a little sense of compassion around that relationship, right? But the beautiful thing about having awareness is that you start moving forward, right? You get out of the autopilot of the relationship. And there's two things that happen in mother-daughter relationships that I noticed. There's many things, but there's, the relationship that you have a good relationship with your mom. You're just going with the flow, right? You get along, things are good, but that doesn't necessarily, you don't need to work on your energy because there may be something that's preventing you from even going beyond your potential, right? Because you're just coping with or tolerating your mom in a way, and that energy, there's underlying, we call it catabolic energy, which is an energy that's draining, that is destructive, is constructive. So when you're coping with a relationship, let's say with your mother, and you're not addressing the underlying energy underneath, that could be anger, frustration, fear, self-doubt, all those catabolic feelings, then you're really limiting yourself. right? So the lack of awareness can prevent you from going to your potential, empowering you, coming back home to exactly know who you are and what part of you wasn't really you.
The quicker we as women become aware of these things, right, or become more self-aware, then there's so much magic that can come after it, and you're healing not only yourself, but then your mother and those that came before you, right? Mm-hmm. So listening to you, it just feels so perfectly, of course, aligned with what we do, and that's why we are really enjoying having you here with us, because it's like speaking the same language. As you say, sometimes, you know, mothers and daughters, they're coping with whatever, you know, that dynamic, what they're used to of that dynamic, but there's so much under it that sometimes we don't want to go deeper because it's just gonna, you know, go wrong and do so much, right?
And what you are 200% right. Going to when this is healed and you're aware and, you know, there's a transformation in that relationship, magic happens. That's for sure. I've seen it, I've lived it. So to give you a couple of examples, you know, we, you know, as core energy coaches, we have 7 levels of energy that we teach. Basically, level 1 being the least conscious, and level 7 being the highest conscious, right? And what consciousness means really is understanding that there's a choice, right? Understanding that the perspective can be a lot broader. When you are at level 1, which we call it the victim energy, you are at the effect of life, right? You become a victim. The lens of which you see the world is through fear, self-doubt, guilt. And there's a lot of those feelings that maybe were developed in your relationship with your mother growing up. But once you experience that level of energy, your thoughts are of a victim. Your feelings are of fear, self-doubt, guilt, and all those kind of catabolic feelings. And then what are you gonna do, right? You're gonna withdraw. So what happens in a relationship, for example, I've seen in some clients tell me, well, I'm even scared of talking to my mom because she's going to react in a way that I don't want to. I know how she's going to react. And then they don't realize that because they want to avoid that conversation, what they're doing is they're withdrawing from the relationship or avoiding it, right? So it creates a catabolic relationship, really. So that's level 1. And I'm just going to explain a couple of them, just so we have the eyes of the mother-daughter relationship based on these levels of energy. The level 2 energy is everything around anger, right? So the thoughts, the lens in which you see the world, including the relationship with your mother, is based on anger. You know, you feel angry, you feel frustrated. Your thoughts are conflict. Oh, I don't want to do that with my mom because I'm sure we're gonna fight and she's gonna make me frustrated. And so what do? A lot of times, especially in the beginning of like the young adults, you're defiant, right? That's the result of a level 2 energy. You become defiant with your mother, and vice versa, because this doesn't only go one way, right? It's a mutual relationship. So level 1 and level 2 energy are very catabolic. So nothing good or nothing empowering can come out of that. It doesn't mean it's good or bad. We will experience that throughout our relationship. The idea and why energy work is so important is that you don't stay in that level, right? Because you'll experience that it has its benefits and its, you know, advantages and disadvantages. The idea is that you move through frequencies and you move up to a more conscious view. The other thing that
is to evolve the process.
100%. So think of it as level 1, very, what do you call it? Closed, constructed, once you start opening your perspective, your lenses of life, your consciousness starts opening up. So the same circumstance, let's say a discussion with your mom, you're not going to see it from a level 1 victim perspective. You're going to have so many more choices to react to, right? That's why it's so important to be aware and do the energy work, not only when you have a bad relationship, but also when you have a good relationship, because there may be some things that can catapult you to even, a higher place as women, especially.
And I love that last point that you say, because, a lot of women say like, oh no, things are good, we're speaking and it works. But again, either there's some of that underlying feelings, or, they just need to start moving up that conscious field, right? So that they can kind of relate in a healthier way with each other, even more as, each one evolves. And I think that's something that is not very clear to a lot of mother-daughter relationships, and a lot of women that are going through life having, situations with other people, and then they don't come and realize that it might be affecting because of whatever dynamic you're having with your own mom, right? Because you're reacting just the way you're used to, also with other people, right?
That lens, it's all about reconciliation. You make peace, you accept things, you tolerate in order to move forward, right? Things in this level 3 lens are good enough. So why change it? Like they're okay, they're good enough, we can move forward. Let's move forward. That's a basic kind of goal of everybody. Now, what we do know is what we do one thing, we do everything in life. So when you find out that mother and daughter relationships are coping with each other, 100% they're coping many other things in their lives, which is holding them back. That's why I believe that mother-daughter relationships are a gift to us, to be able to be self-aware. How am I in this relationship showing up? Because that's going to give me a lot of information, how I show up with my relationships, with my partners, at work, with my friends, right? So if I'm avoiding any type of tough conversation just to get the party okay, I'm probably doing the same thing at work, and then limiting myself, because I'm not going to look for a promotion because where I am is good enough.
Yes.
It's good enough. So that's the basic underlying energy. And level 3 energy it's a mixed bag of anabolic and catabolic. It's 60% anabolic and 40% catabolic. So it is really the entry point away from all the level 1 and 2, which is both are completely catabolic, right? It is the entry point, but in order to move and grow and develop and evolve from a level 3 good enough perspective, you gotta work on the underlying issues. Otherwise, you're just gonna hit the wall.
And once again, and all for years.
Yes.
And that's what really happens a lot of time. You get 50,
Well,
you get
the autopilot.
Yeah, exactly, where I am, who I am. And the most important is that you find yourself. And this is actually what we do.
Yes.
We find yourself on the process, and to redefine your place in the relationship individually, because this is the most important.
Obviously, you guys have and I can see the energy between you guys. I'm sure you've overcome a lot of things, and I'm sure you've celebrated a lot of growth together. And just looking at myself personally, the reason why I'm so passionate about mother-daughter relationship and helping other women empower themselves by being aware of their energy and how they can raise their consciousness is because I've seen it in my own story, where, in the beginning, I always thought I was supposed to be successful, be the number 1 in my country, be the champion in order to receive love from my mom or my dad, from my parents, or attach that to a value that I had. So when I was having more open conversations with my mom, I realized that a lot of the things that I thought she was assuming were completely false and stories I just made up in my head, right? And that's when we started having a lot of honest conversations, tough conversations, difficult conversations, because when you start as a daughter showing your mom who you are, right, based on your own self-awareness, not based on what you've been programmed by society, not only your mother or dad, but that's when mothers are like, whoa, okay, I see you're showing up. This is you, really. I'm not really used to this new you, but let's explore. Let's have that curiosity, that acceptance, that compassion with each other. And the beautiful thing about you kind of like coming out of the closet and saying, this is who I am, is that you allow your mother to do the same thing. You allow your mother to feel free as well. And their energy changes, because once you start making the energy work, once you do the work and you show up, and as an example, you embody the change that you're going through, it's very contagious. So you start vibrating at a different level, and sometimes the problems that you used to have, the issues with your mom, completely disappear because you're not even vibrating on 1 and 2 anymore. And she gets the message, she feels free, and you guys, have a more conscious relationship.
Totally. And I mean, I think, at this point, you totally clarified why is it so important, to do this energy work within, I mean, not only for yourself, but within the relationship, so that we can start vibrating at a different level, right? So I would love to ask you, for example, what are 3 ways in which mothers and daughters can apply energy healing or some work in their relationship to get them started?
Yeah, that's good. That's a good question. A lot of the times I tell my clients some self-coaching techniques, right, that help. So for example, first of all, the feelings that you currently have within that mother-daughter relationship, it's completely normal. I mean, it's completely normal, and it's important to acknowledge that it's normal because of all the experiences that you've had growing up together. Your mother had other experience, her mother has had other experiences. So that whole generational energy that is brought up into your relationship is completely normal. That there is anger, it's completely normal that there is victimization somewhere. It's completely normal that you're coping or you feel that you're being taken advantage. All those feelings are normal for your story, for your experience, right? So the number one thing that I ask my clients to do is acknowledge and validate your own feelings. They're completely normal. Now, once you do that, you have to start taking responsibility, right? So once you understand that it's normal that I feel that way, and you realize, okay, what do we do now? Then you have to start taking responsibility of what you're thinking, feeling, and doing and acting, right? So if you start taking responsibility of your thoughts, things are going to change. And taking responsibility to me means being very curious about the way that you're reacting, the way that you're thinking. If you wake up and your thoughts all of a sudden go to something negative, it's okay. But as long as you're aware and you're taking responsibility, where is this thought coming from? What is the belief behind this thought? So some of the self-coaching techniques that I teach my clients is, first, acknowledge and validate your feelings and okay. Now, second, take responsibility of thoughts, feelings, and actions. And then you can start switching and being aware of where to change. And just, a lot of the issues that I've seen mother-daughters go through, and actually very simple technique is really to be more mindful. You move from the past to the present. A lot of times that you ask somebody, so how's your mom? Oh, she's always been this and that and that. But who is she now, right? Yeah. They start describing who she was, you know, when they were 7 years old, 10 years old. That's no longer their mother. Who she is today and who you are today is completely different who you guys were at that, you know, at that time. And that's great news, because that means there's a lot of change that can happen, right? And just moving from that past to the present and being mindful, okay, I am with my mom. She's a different person today. I am a different person. Then you start feeling a little bit of magic.
So valuable. And how you go to these 3 points, and this is all about us individually. When you said you keep seeing your mother when you were 7 years old, it's so clear. This is what happens when we speak with our beautiful ladies that we work normally, but they feel, oh no, there is nothing to do. I have always the same conversation with my mom, so nothing will change. And this is, I mean, they come with this disappointment, and the most important is to make this shift, really, to see yourself now and give her the opportunity. Do you have anything else that you can tell about this by your experience, or what else can we bring to mothers and daughters to improve really this relationship?
So I think that first we need to recognize that it's not a pill that we pop, or, you know, a light switch that we turn on and all of a sudden we have a beautiful and harmonious relationship. It is literally a life journey. But that's a good thing, because as you're going through that journey, and if you understand and you allow yourself to enjoy the journey, as opposed to, you know, I'm going to be joyful and happy when I have the perfect relationship with my mom, then you're gonna miss out your whole life, right? It's you gotta enjoy every single moment that you have with your mom or daughter, and enjoy that journey towards having a healed relationship and really feel that freedom, right? The other thing what I believe is that people understand that healing your relationship with your mom, and when I say healing, I don't mean going from bad to good, right? When I say healing, I say exploring and maximizing and optimizing that relationship for your benefit. You really are empowered, right? Women are empowered when they authentically can look at a relationship with their mothers and say, we get each other, we have boundaries, we communicate clearly, and we respect each other's decisions, right? That's when empowerment and freedom comes, and it's so huge, because that's where you're going to find empowerment in other areas of your life that are going to bring you more joy and happiness. And the other thing I would say, and Alex, you mentioned this, is when you realize that something is holding you back within this relationship or other aspects of your life, and you taste a little bit of the healing, taste a little bit of the energy shift, you will see that magic literally starts happening around you, not only with your mother, the relationship, but with everybody that you interact with. That shift of energy, once you work on it and understand where you're feeling, what you're experiencing, and can be aware, consciously aware, and choose, I'm going to live this relationship from a lens of opportunity, from a lens of, you know, peace and wisdom, and healing and all that thing. When you choose that, then everything else around you will start, you know, flourishing. I love that you mentioned magic. It's a really interesting word to me. I love that.
As you said, it's not like it goes from bad to good. It's never perfect. I mean, that's something that we always say. There's no perfect relationship. And for example, people look at us as like, oh my God, you have like such a perfect relationship. We're like, it's not perfect. It has cost us, it has cost us a lot of work. And that's why we're here talking about this, because we have experienced it, and not just like through this relationship, but all like the wisdom that my mom has built on with her own mother has helped us to do it differently. And that's, you know, that's the magic, is how we make it happen in a different way, right? Not of what we are used to things happening.
And I see her evolving. I did it myself. And this is what we could put it together. And that's why we know it is possible.
That's why we love you, Monica, for the work that you do and for what you have brought actually to this conversation, because it's that one part that I think will complement as well to our audience with what we have already said in the past or what we continue saying. And I'm pretty sure, and I feel it, that we're gonna see as well more of you with us making things happen for mothers and daughters who need to see that change, right? To continue their growth within their relationship.
Absolutely, and I'm more than honored to be here. I really feel the energy you guys have, and I see the passion that you bring into this topic, and it's such an important theme and such an important contribution to really the world. And I see your guys' purpose, and I'm inspired by it. What you talk about, Alex, you know, it's not even a selfish work just for you, because once you start healing that, you break the cycle and you heal many generations down. So it's a collective, it's an individual work with a collective impact. And I know you guys are very purposeful on that, and I'll be more than honored to keep doing this work with you and collaborate whenever possible.
Thank you so much, Monica. We could stay here for ages and many hours. A lot to talk about, and but we are sure we will be together again. And we are really honored also to have you, to have met you, and to see that the work that you do also, it's impacting people, because you learn from that also. And I believe that when we have gone through experiences that brought us to a change and to decide that we could find in ourselves happiness, this empowerment, and this peace and freedom that we need, it gives us the way to take another path in our lives. So I am really happy also to have met you, and let's go for it. We will be helping mothers and daughters and future generations for sure. That's lovely.
And empowered women, absolutely. Thank you, guys. I enjoyed it very much, this powerful conversation.
Thank you, Monica, for being here, and see you soon.
See you. Bye-bye.
Marcando Autenticidad, con Marta y Alexandra, la serie número 1 en entrevistas para el desarrollo sano y auténtico de la relación madre-hija y sus futuras generaciones. Comparte este episodio con alguien que necesite escucharlo y suscríbete a nuestro canal. Para obtener más información sobre nuestro invitado de hoy, consulta los enlaces que te dejamos a continuación. Somos tus anfitriones, Marta y Alexandra, madre e hija en vida y negocios, mentores y conferencistas internacionales, creadoras del método 7 pasos en el camino a fortalecer el vínculo madre-hija.